another game for you, and this particular idea facing the London system is coming directly out of a text I have been working on for Chessable, an e6 against everything repertoire. And I like this early bishop d6, and you go, well, didn't I just watch a whole bunch of videos where you talk about good bishop and bad bishop? Why in the world are you trading off your good bishop here? Okay, well, we're getting compensation. If takes, we get time, and we have an immediate threat with queen b4 trying to go after the b-pawn. And very often, the passive London system player that's very automatic with their moves is just going to play c3 and not even think here. My opponent, who's about 2,400 on Lead Chess, played the most critical line. So then we have ourselves some fun in the position. He goes queen g4. So clearly he had studied this. Now, if you've never seen this type of position, it's a good time to take stock. So what's best here? What would be your first reaction? Knight f6 doesn't quite work because queen g7 is going to hit the knight and the rook on h8. So the most aggressive option, So direct defense. Well, let's check the other aggressive option first. Queen b4 check. So what happens if queen b4 check? Well, after queen b4, we have a bit of a problem here because white can simply go knight d2. And you don't want to grab the b-pawn because of rook b1, and we're the one in a huge material deficit here. So after queen g4, king f8 or g6, what's more flexible and why? King f8, preventing ourselves from castling, is not something that is necessary in this position. So g6 is going to be more accurate. And after knight d2, knight f6, gaining a tempo on the queen. And this is already a critical moment in the position. Now, black already is close to equality, but this next move will put you where you need to be. So what's the bad piece in the position? Yes, the bishop. Can we fix the problem of our bishop in this position? Yes, we can. So why didn't I do it? I don't know. It's a blitz game. We miss things. But the best move in the position is e5, as it fixes the problem immediately of the c8 bishop, and we're just equal. You can play forever from this type of position. Now, I know the e5 break is the way to go, but I didn't want to say e5 takes, queen takes, knight f3, but yep, b2 pawns hanging. It's easy to miss something like that in quick calculation, so I went knight bd7. And my opponent, who's good, sees an opportunity and says, okay, he wants to play for the e5 break. I'm going to play f4 and shut it right down. Now we need to come up with a different plan. White's clearly expanding on the king side, and you need to be careful in this type of position, because if you just make a normal enough move like castles, this is inviting white to attack you viciously on the king side, and this is what they sign up for. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play on the other wing to distract white. So if the e5 break is stopped, I'm going to play for the c5 break. And after c3, this now makes a target with the chain. So I'm going to go for a classical plan, minority attack plan with rook b8, and I'm going to try to break on the queen side. There's b5, and the opponent's making moves, but not making a lot of progress here. a5, and this is why I like to play in this way. Slow buildup of pressure that can't be stopped. The opponent will very often focus on that idea and throw the game away immediately by trying to do something with a knee-jerk reaction. White should have played natural moves like bishop d3 and castled and allowed me to get the breakthrough on the queen side, and I'm eventually going to play bishop a6 and just get rid of my bad bishop and just admit equality. White rushed things with a4. So how can we punish this? Well, we were looking to break on the b file in order to make targets. So can't I just take in order to get the rook activated and hitting a weakness? Why, yes, I can. And after takes, let's give him room to go wrong in the center after c takes d4. And now it's a question of what would you do? There's a lot of different ways to play this position. We have the potential of some tactics popping up. My first thought was I want to see if I can't force white to be defensive. And let me turn my engine friend on and get his feedback as well. So the first choice move of the machine is queen b6. So if you said that, good for you. So after rook a8, the very strong rook takes d2. Looks like it gets the job done. And the game would be over. Now, I thought I was being clever here and I chose the second best move, queen c7, because I was saying, yep, I'm hitting here and here, and he's very likely going to do a move like rook a3, and then I forced him to go backwards while I'd gained time. I completely missed rook c5, and then missed the follow-up or subsequent calculation here. Can I take it? Well, if knight takes c5, queen takes f6, two pieces are hit. And this is where I ended my calculations. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is done. If I castle, they take here. But after queen takes c5, the problem that white's having here is at move 18, he hasn't developed his bishop on f1 and the king's still stuck in the middle. I didn't look deep enough into the position because queen e3 is coming pretty much no matter what white does here, and it's devastating. This is a winning position for black. Now, not seeing this, I played queen b8, which encouraged the opponent to go knight c6, and now queen b6. He's gotten his pieces in here. It's going to be really hard to get him out now. Knight b4. Again, I'm worried about if knight takes c5, the in-between moves. I'm just going to castle, protect the bishop on c8, and I know I've got a winning position. Opponent goes rook b5. Let's bother the c-pawn again. Now, to his credit, he's trying anything he can to muddy the waters of the position. And I was fine with the sacrifice because I am getting into the position. Better part of 9 points in the green here. Now, knight e3 was second best. And I'll be honest, I didn't think of doing that where queen g4 is met by knight d3 and queen takes f4 is the engine's first choice. That's got to be a terrible position. So I went knight e3 because it's flexible. Again, a flexible move while picking up material. And best is knight takes g2 here. That's nice. Deflecting the bishop to win the exchange. I played queen a1, followed by knight f5. And I typically, if I can't see something forced, it doesn't jump out at me immediately, I'm going to go for something more positional. And this is, not only am I picking up time on the queen, I'm coordinating better and making my opponent's pieces all awkward. Then once the queen moves, bishop a6, I get my last piece developed. I make the strongest piece, most active piece white has, bad. So you can see, like, aging masters, those that don't study tactics, the way we handle positions, it's more limiting and controlling the opponent's play rather than brute force calculation like the engine just spits out instantly. So g4, I went knight d4 and then collected, and queen a7 was good enough to get the win as my opponent ran out of time in this position. So overall, this is kind of an interesting line with bishop d6 because it puts pressure on the opponent's bishop immediately. Of course, in the main course, I go through if bishop g3, if knight f3, and those get more towards the main line of the London system. But this early bishop d6 followed by queen g4, I found interesting and wanted to share it with the channel. Hopefully you enjoyed it.